morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Anita Bass podcast. My name is Anita Bass, your host, and this episode, as per usual, is brought to you by Awake Tours, the greatest music festival and travel touring company in the whole entire world. So today we have the pleasure of speaking to the beautiful Chloe. She's a master twerk teacher and one of the greatest twerk artists in the whole entire universe. But she's so much more than that. Today we talk about how her classes and her way of teaching has helped herself and her clients and students become the fullest version of themselves, take that confidence that they learn inside the studio into their everyday lives. We talk about what it was like for her to first come into, I guess, the spotlight and put herself out there doing this, how much confidence she's gained through this craft. We speak about failure, we speak about starting a business, we speak about things that you think hold you back, and it's all around just a great conversation, watching somebody who has flourished and is now fully in their own and living a life that they have designed. Okay, so let's get Chloe on. Alrighty, guys, I have Chloe on the phone. Chloe, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm not too bad, not too bad. Thanks again for joining us on today's podcast. I have had your name written down for ages as somebody who I'd want to interview. You've been doing such big things in your space, and I can't wait to sit down and talk to you and hear all about it. So I'm just going to go straight into it because it's probably easiest and just ask you straight out, how did you first discover twerk and what initially drew you towards it?
Well, I guess I discovered twerk like most people would, seeing it in a music video.
Yeah.
I think the music video that comes to mind is Beyonce's and Jay-Z, Crazy in Love, when they're like sort of twerking. I don't know if it's actually what you would define as twerking, but that's my first memory of twerk. But the first time I ever had seen like a choreographed twerk routine was actually from my first twerk instructor. We had met at a work conference and we just added each other on Facebook, and then she posted this video on Facebook of her twerking, and I was absolutely mesmerized how someone could move their booty like that. So I guess at the time I was in a relationship where I really wasn't feeling like I was enough, and I wanted to feel sexy within my body. So I just reached out to her, and she's told me that she did classes, and then I guess 4 years later, like, here we are. This is me now. This is my life.
That is absolutely amazing, and obviously now everyone can go onto your profile and see how you move, but if you haven't already, she is an absolute fucking lord. You're like literally the queen of twerk in my eyes. Like, you're fucking amazing. And same thing, I watch you and it's like so effortless. You're like, and I'm like, what do you mean? And like that's fucking hard, but you make it just look perfect. It is. And
a lot of cardio.
Well, literally. And also that's kind of cool that you said as well how you wanted to feel sexy in your body, because when I interviewed Ashley Hartree, she also does like the women's sass dance and stuff, and I mentioned when I first started doing like her classes and and twerk as well, it was because I didn't feel like, I felt kind of like sexually blocked in my body, and I didn't feel sexy in any way, and that was the one thing which allowed me to like kind of feel that way without anyone touching me or me touching myself. So it was like a safe space for me to feel sexy within my body, but something that I never thought that I'd get out of it, but it was kind of just an avenue that I was like, I'm just going to look down here, because it kind of, I don't know, something just led me towards it. And so that's crazy that you also say that too.
Well, I actually love Ash and what she does. And I think we want to collaborate sometime soon. So
that would be dope.
Good reminder.
That would be dope. Alrighty, so obviously now you're a lord and the queen of twerk out here, and confidence comes from knowing you're really good and you're good at the art, and you have a lot of people who come to you now and encourage you and support you. However, I can imagine that right at the beginning it may not have been that way. Possibly it was, but I'm just assuming maybe not. So was it scary to start putting yourself out there as a twerk teacher, in particular, like uploading to social media, as people may have been seeing this for the first time or didn't quite understand what it meant to you?
Yes. I could really say it was probably one of the scariest things I've ever done. I'm a very risk averse person, and I grew up with a lot of shame and guilt surrounding like being and feeling sexy.
Yeah.
So I actually went to my very first workshop alone because I didn't want anyone to know I was doing a twerk class.
Yeah.
I was so worried about what people would think about me, what my family and friends would think about me. So I kind of went alone, and that was kind of a blessing in disguise because I met some like amazing women, and we're still friends to this very day 4 years later, and they still support me. So it was a great first experience. But in regards to social media, oh my God, that was terrifying. And I actually I posted my first video when I was still a student of twerk, and I'd probably done it for about 7 months or so. And I remember someone videoing me and me watching it like 50 times, just staring at it going, do I post this? Do I don't post this? And I think it took me about an hour to actually press that button. And I remember this so vividly. I like threw my phone across the room and then I ran out the room because I was just so scared. And I was anticipating the worst, as you would. But I actually received a lot of positive feedback. And I think I'm very grateful for that, because I think if I had received a lot of negative feedback, I wouldn't have kept posting. But by the time I started teaching, I already had a separate account for my twerking, and I was feeling really confident within that. My friends and family knew that I was obsessed with twerk, so that wasn't such a big thing.
After, but I could definitely imagine on that first day doing it, be like, I'm not checking my phone, and then like kind of seeing a few things, like, oh fuck, should I take it down or take it down? Oh God, who's gonna see it? And then in hindsight, like people like they think it's cool, but they don't think about it as much as like you think about it, and they're just like, oh, that's cool, but to you it's like But I can definitely imagine that would have been. I remember even when I started doing videos and stuff, same type of thing. And I was like, who the fuck do I think I am to post this? I'll be so annoying. People will think this and da-da-da. And then it's like, and you post it and people get over it. And once they see you do it a couple times, that's just what you do, and they don't care. Like, so that they're like, oh, I remember when I almost was never going to do any of this because I was so scared. And now that seems so stupid. But,
I still get scared with Instagram lives. That still scares me.
Well, it's natural, being seen as well. And of course, there's so many people, but fuck it. Alrighty, so what's your favourite thing about twerk and what it does for the women and men you teach? How have you seen this help your students, and how has it possibly carried over into their daily lives?
I love so many things about twerk. There's literally nothing more beautiful than witnessing a human being coming into their own self-expression and just being juicy and authentic, and like you just said before, being able to be witnessed in that way. And there are not a lot of spaces where people feel safe to do this, and I believe that like a twerk class is one of those spaces where you can really feel safe. But like most things, feeling that confidence doesn't come overnight. Surprisingly, a lot of people, especially women, don't feel safe in their own bodies. We grow up being told, don't wear that, or don't dance like that, or you'll attract the wrong attention, or you'll get something you didn't ask for, you get assaulted, etc. So the majority of us have trust issues within our own bodies, where that should really be a safe space for most of us. And I used to be one of those people for sure. I wouldn't even feel safe dancing in my own bedroom, in my own house.
By yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
With no one watching. It's crazy, isn't it?
And if you can't be an absolute freak in the privacy of your own home, then that's when there's a lot of work to do. So I guess my favorite thing about twerk, to answer your question, is rewriting people's stories and unraveling their limited beliefs. So many people come to class with low self-esteem or limited body confidence, and just being able to see people move through that is incredible. Especially mums. I always hear mums saying, I'm just a mum. And then they just transform. They rediscover who they are. They find their bodies. They start to feel more confident. I actually had a lady say the other day, oh my goodness, I thought my feminine side had left me forever. I was like, no, it's always been there. But I guess they take those attitudes out into the world, and I can see them taking bigger risks, especially on social media.
Yeah.
And they just spread this beautiful message of like self-acceptance and empowerment. So
Yeah.
that's really beautiful.
That is beautiful. And I think, yeah, you're 100% correct in that. Like, as women, most times you're felt like you're not allowed to be sexual, or if you are, you're thought that you're going to be perceived in a certain type of way, or there's like judgment, or you can't be too sexual and blah, blah, blah. So it is, I think it's kind of like subliminal too. Like, to me, I never thought that possibly could have thought that, but then when I first went to classes of this nature, I was like, am I allowed to move like this? Is it weird? Is everyone looking?
Yeah.
And then eventually you get past it, because you see people who like look like normal people. Everyone looks like normal people, but you see them and then they just bust out these freaky, like, it's like, what? They're just like, fuck yeah, it's like impressive. And you're like, well, if they can do it, I can do it. And as you said, it's such a safe space and everyone's doing it, and it's kind of at the point where like you have to do it because you can't stand there and do nothing. And yeah, like you as a teacher and stuff, you're like, no, like do this, like this, there's jiggles if you want to wear G-string, blah, blah, blah. And then everyone slowly, as the weeks go by, like, fuck you, okay, I can do this, and no one's going to be like calling you names and shit. So yeah, that's crazy. That's beautiful.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel like even if you don't hold like the values of seeing a woman twerking and calling them a hoe, we subconsciously absorb that message just through media and through other people saying things like that around us. And if it's in our subconscious, it's probably, dictating what we're doing and thinking anyway, because we're controlled, like, was it 95% of our subconscious? We're like 5% conscious or something like that. So we don't realize we take these things on until, you step into a class and you're like, what am I doing?
Yeah. Literally, and you don't realize that's how you're treating yourself. If you see a girl twerking and certain things come to your head when you're trying to be sexual in your relationships, you're probably prejudging yourself in that way too, but you just don't know it.
Exactly.
Like, it's crazy. All right, so you seem like an incredibly confident and self-assured young lady. In most cases, this may not have always been the way. So where does your self-confidence come from, and where can others potentially find it if they're struggling?
This always spins me out, because people do perceive me as very confident, but I'm actually a real introvert at heart. And I just have this agreement with myself to keep pushing my boundaries. I had a mentor once tell me to do something that scared me every single day.
Yeah.
And when she first said that to me, I was like, but I'm not afraid of that many things. How could I find something every single day that scares me? But looking back, I now see that I was just playing way too small. If I'm not pushing myself and out of my comfort zone, then of course nothing's going to scare me. So pushing through that, I guess, helps a lot with confidence.
Yeah.
But a lot of that did come through twerk, and I really love the challenges that twerk presents, because believe me, I'm a slow learner and I went through all of them. And I think it gives you a space to lean into the uncomfortable, and that's kind of where growth comes from.
Yeah.
I know I was definitely the girl who took like 6 weeks and like a double dare to take off my leggings, and I replaced them with gym shorts, not even booty shorts.
Yeah.
But I was also the girl who was disgusted by everything jiggling on my body at once. But as with most things, the more you do it, the more normal it becomes, and then you begin to accept it. And so for me, it's the biggest gift to wake up and like what I see in the mirror, like cellulite and all. Like, obviously you still have bad days and off days, but just having and holding that space of gratitude for my body and what it can do is a really great feeling, and that kind of overflows into other aspects of life.
Oh, that's so beautiful. That's I guess, it is. It's fucking amazing. And I guess it's true as well, because you're in an environment, I know men come, but I guess predominantly women and stuff. And as you said, if you once walked in and were scared to look at your body, I assume every single fucking person in the class would as well. Like, so it's such a beautiful space for y'all to come together. And even if you don't verbally say it, just be like, oh, we're all humans. Like, we're not walking around with Instagram filters pretending we're not. Like, we're all here in booty shorts and your body jiggles because you're human, and if you don't have body fat, you're dead. Like, you know what I mean? And it's just like, and that can be really good for like younger girls who, like, I think I'm 28 now, but I grew up, thank fuck the internet came out like the year I left high school. I couldn't imagine going through high school with the internet and shit like that, and having to visually like see what I should look like and be like, I do not look like that at all. So I feel like, without probably even intending to, it's a beautiful environment for people to be, and as well as you said, mums as well, who feel like as soon as they become a mum, they can't be sexual, or they've lost that, or they've lost themselves, and then to be around other mums and be like, wait, we don't have to dedicate our whole lives, like we can still be sexual beings regardless. So yeah, I think it's wonderful. It is. Yeah. Side note, what type of cool things are you doing with your twerk, or what, like, because at the moment I'm pretty sure I saw you do, well, you like a birthday or a film clip, or like you've been doing some crazy ass shit in like penthouses by the looks of it. You just get hired to do everything cool.
Yeah, so I have like my classes, but I also have like a promotional twerk troupe, and we do like podium dancing and music videos and just anything. We did do a birthday party on the yacht last week. But yeah, it makes me feel like I'm in my 20s still, but it is a lot of fun. But
you're not in your 20s. I thought you were like 23, 24. Are you?
No, I'm 31.
Oh, no shit. I thought you were younger than me for sure. You're a baby face. Oh.
I have a baby face.
Oh, that's dope. Yeah, literally I was like, this bitch living a film clip. Like, I think it must have been the yacht or like the birthday. Yeah, I was like, this is crazy. This is, yeah.
Yeah. It is. It's like I live a double life. Like I'm this normal person, and then on the weekends.
Twerking down. Yeah. So to old school thinkers, twerk, I guess, like to older generations, possibly goes against the status quo of how women should dance. What would you say to these people, or what do you wish that they would know about the benefits of twerk on, say, your spirit and your body? And I'm kind of sure you've already semi-answered this, but if there's anything else you wish they would know, if they just look down and be like, that's not dancing, or women shouldn't be seen like that type thing.
Yeah. Oh my God. There's so many things. Twerk is so interesting. I guess, especially music videos, it's been portrayed through a sexual lens, but historically, these hip movements were a way for feminine energy to celebrate and bond.
Yeah.
But admittedly, I did have that same view of twerking. Like, I started because I wanted to feel more sexy. But the history of twerking is very hard to find due to the limited information out there, and that's most likely a result of systemic racism and colonization. The word twerk actually came around in the early 90s in the bounce era, but it's historically those booty and hip shaking movements we see in twerk. It's been around for a very, 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 very long time, and we can trace it back to West Africa, and it was a ritualistic dance. It was a way for women to actually sync their cycles and to honor women's fertility. It's actually so cool. And in some tribes, the dance was actually done at festivals and known as a way of connecting with God. So it was actually quite a spiritual practice.
Yeah,
I know. You would never think about it that way, but the actual art of shaking your body can be seen in many cultures all over the world, and that's because I guess dance and shaking are a great healing modality. So when you put those two together, it can be really powerful.
Yeah.
And I think you actually discussed this with Ash on your podcast, but we hold on to trauma somatically in the body. So shaking can help move those low vibrational energies out of the body.
Yeah.
And twerking in particular is very grounded and activates the root and sacral chakra, just bringing clear energy to these parts of the body. So I guess for listeners that don't know what chakras are, they're energy centers in our body. The root chakra is located at the base of the spine, and sacral chakra just under the navel, and they're the two that we really associate with twerk. When these are blocked, we can feel ungrounded, unsafe, fearful, emotional, insecure. And so that's, I guess, a lot of people come to class with those blocked chakras, not feeling like enough, like I did, and low self-esteem. But on the flip side, when we balance these chakras, we start to feel more creative, we have more self-worth, we feel secure and self-confident, and that sort of energy makes you magnetic to others, which can really attract more abundance in your life, which is really something that I've found has happened a lot more. I have a lot more abundance ever since I started twerking. So I use it as a way to express my wild feminine spirit and shake it out if I'm having a really shitty day or going through something. I'm not the greatest at expressing myself with words. So I kind of just dance and shake it out.
Yeah.
And this is something that I find really important. And so my dance instructors that work for me and myself, we share this with all our students so they understand, and they can also celebrate twerk and its origins and its significance in history. But also it's a great comeback when people give you shit for doing it because that happens a lot. Especially with that, I guess you could call it a twerk scandal that, what was it, the Australian Navy ship with the dancers.
What was that?
I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it was actually dance hall that they were doing and not twerk. But I remember one of my students, she's like, my mum was like, is that what you do? So she had some good comebacks.
So actually it brings you closer to God and it's spiritual. No, there's nothing sexual about it. That's so cool. No, that is dope. And that's something that I literally didn't even know either, like the chakra thing, until I delved into it after feeling so good after doing that. Like I felt even just like sexually unblocked and being able to move. But I physically couldn't move my hips just because I've always done things so mechanically blocky in the gym. And Ashley just be like, just move. I'd be like, I can't, like I don't, my body doesn't have it. It's like me asking you to speak Japanese to people. Like it's not, there's no context inside me. And then when I started doing it and gradually like got over it. And it was literally just me dancing in my house, which was the scariest thing because it's so stupid. It's you by yourself. But it was like, go on, do it. No one's watching. You're like, no. And then it's like, come on, get over it, do it. And then bit by bit by bit. And then I slowly started moving. And I was like, whoa. And then, I just felt so much better in all different areas. And then I looked into the chakras and I was like, no shit, this makes so much fucking sense. I feel stagnant in there and so much stagnant energy for ages. It was crazy. But it's so cool how it's all connected.
Yeah, it's so fascinating, and I only really delved into this because of COVID, and we had nothing else to do but research, really.
It's good for something. Alrighty, so you are very successful in your business, in your personal business, in my opinion, or in fucking anyone's who looks at what you're doing. So people see the end result and not the come up. So everyone fails in life, and I always mention there really is no success without failure. That's in order to get what we want. It's just inevitable. Like there's never going to be a day that you're like, I want to do this, you get it straight away and all is well. Like failure is just the thing. I've fucking bombed at many things and it's all just led to where you need to be. So what's your opinion on this and failure in business and getting where you want in life?
I would 100% agree. I always say if you learn the lesson, then you never fail. I've always been a chaser of a silver lining and finding the magic in life. So I guess throughout that mindset, I've always managed to be grateful for the lessons that each failure has brought me. Obviously, it doesn't feel great at the time, but
it was just wasn't happening.
So I guess I'm very blessed that I have a lot of support from my teachers and my students, and that I've actually managed to avoid a lot of hiccups within this business. I've tried other businesses, but I guess this is probably my life's purpose. So that's why it feels like it's a little bit easier, I guess.
Yeah, and I was going to say, do you think it's probably just because you're moving in line with what you're supposed to be doing? Because similar, I tried so many businesses, but just like shit for money's sake, like so many, and they just bombed because I just didn't care. And when I was doing what I actually want, it was effortless because you would just work on it because you were generally interested, and eventually it was like something else took control and it pushes you. So yeah, although you've tried other businesses, I feel, as you said, it's your life purpose, or you're so fucking good at it that like it has to work because it's your thing.
I feel like a lot of people ask me, because I do work like a part-time job as well, and everyone's like, how do you work during the day and then teach at night? But twerk gives me energy, and I give good energy and then I get good energy back. So it's really it really doesn't feel like work to me. It feels very inspiring, and I just love it. So I couldn't stop if I tried.
No, I wouldn't be able to. Yeah. So what has been the hardest thing about being in or starting a business for you? Possibly any of the businesses or starting this up?
I actually laughed at this question when I read it, when you sent it through, because I actually have a bachelor in business, and when it came to actually starting a business, I had no idea where to start. So I think probably the hardest thing about starting a business is actually starting.
Yeah.
I personally got to a point where I was like, okay, enough with the perfectionist shit. Just start, just do it. People get in their heads about finding the perfect branding and logo, website. And believe me, I get that because I worked in marketing for years and that's what I sold to people every day. But I think starting just by setting an intention and communicating that with your audience, just being yourself and being genuine, and just giving things a go and seeing what makes you, like we just said before, if you feel you're failing forward, you're learning a lesson. I think ever since I just started, things have just happened organically, and as things come up, you just deal with it and then move forward.
Yeah. I think that's absolutely awesome that you mentioned about the thing, because that's, in my opinion, what holds people back as well. And literally I've had so many people on who say that's the thing that pisses them off also when they're looking at other people trying to start businesses and that, like, oh, I need the gloves, or I need this, or I can't start until this. And it's like, there's never going to be a situation where it's perfect. Like, Rory Lowe, he came on, he's like a comedian, and then he wanted to make his own cartoon, and like he literally YouTube like how to do a cartoon. He's like, you can fucking do that for everything, but people are like, I can't start this sport until I have the gloves, so that means I can't start my diet plan until this. And it's like, just start. What you have been wanting to do has been done by people fucking probably hundreds of years before you, who haven't had the thing, didn't have the internet, and had way less resources. Like, you don't need the thing, you don't need the right everything, like, but in our heads we put all those obstacles in our way, so that kind of comes with time. But yeah, that's so cool that you mentioned it as well, because we all tend to do that, and I've done that too. I'm like, no, not until this, or and the business name takes forever, and they're just the little things, and then it's like, you're not going to start if you're waiting, because it's never going to be perfect. And the only way to actually find out what works well for your brand is by doing it. Like, I mentioned this before, even with Awake Tours and stuff, some of the marketing in the beginning I was doing, I look back now, I'm like, why did I ever think that would work? That has nothing to do with it. That looks fucking pathetic. But like, I actually would never have known that unless I was actively doing it every day to be like, no, that doesn't work. No one's interacting. Let's change. But yeah, if I waited for like the perfect marketing or everything, it wouldn't have happened. So very happy you said that.
I think like your audience grows and learns with you as well. And that makes, I guess, you more relatable. So I think it's actually great for business to start and just be like a mess and then come together eventually.
Learn with your people. Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
It is. All right, so side thing, where can people actually find you? Not like your socials and that, but your classes and that. What are you currently running in case they want to join? I forgot to put this in your questions, but I'm sure people will want to come find you. Yeah,
so you can find most of our classes through our Instagram, which is perth.twerk. But we usually do 4-week courses every month. And then sometimes we do like 2-hour workshops just for those who are busy and can't make a full course. But I prefer to do courses just so you have the time to develop the skills, so you don't get discouraged, and you also create like a really great friendships and bonds with the people that you're coming with, because you're all going through the same thing. So I'm a big believer in coming to a course because I think it's a better experience.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. Fuck yeah, and I'll definitely link everything below for everyone who will come to see you. Alrighty, so my last question to you is advice to your younger self. And in regard to anything, it could be twerk, business, confidence, not giving a fuck about people, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, advice that you wish that you had known when you were younger.
This was a hard one, but this is something that I guess I've discovered recently. I've just been, I guess, transforming. But I think I would say is never put yourself in a box. Like you are going to be several different people within one lifetime. The most important thing is just to listen to your intuition and do what feels good, what gives you joy. Society might tell you that it's inappropriate or wrong, but always question those motives. But yeah, just follow your freedom, queen. You came to this earth for a mission, so have fun with that mission and find the magic whilst doing it.
No. So good. And I'm glad, again, that you're literally just like hitting all the points that we fucking harped on in all the other podcasts as well. Like, and this is probably a repeat because I literally just did a whole podcast about following your intuition, but it's something that I've always done, and people, because it's not like tangible or something that you can hold, often don't place weight on it. I don't know. Like I've always been like, I'm going to do this. I feel like I should. I'm going to go here. And when I first started talking about it, I had like someone inbox me and just be like, wow, like I never thought to act on that. That's really kind of cool. Maybe more women should listen to that. And I'm like, it's the only thing because it leads you to your happiness. Otherwise you're just doing what people think you should do or what you think you should do. I'm just like, aren't people acting on it? But it's like, because it's not money and it's not proven and it's not like a recipe of something that's going to work. It's just, I think I should do this. And when you're telling your parents or people around you, they're like, I don't think you should because this over here is proven to make money. That sounds weird. Like, so yeah, it's perfect that you mentioned that as well because that's how I've lived my whole life. And yeah, when I interview people who are finally happy in where they are in life, that's the main thing. They're like, I was making all this money or I was doing this and just felt whack and I just said, fuck it. And I didn't have a plan, but I knew it wasn't that. So yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. I think intuition, something I've found to trust only recently. And I think it's because we're told that our minds are what keep us safe. But intuition is just that extra, I guess, hidden sort of
little navigator. Little navigator. Alrighty, well that is actually everything. Well, I could sit here and talk to you forever, but that is all the questions I've written down. So I just wanted to say thank you for coming on. This was really fucking informative as well. Thank you for teaching us about the history of twerk and being so vulnerable to talk about like what led you into it and how that makes you feel. And yeah, like you're a fucking phenomenal person, clearly. You're a good person and you're a fucking fantastic teacher. So yeah, thank you so much for as well showing up in yourself, which as I said, everyone thinks you're confident now, but that's been a journey to now be the queen of all of this. So thank you for keeping on and just getting shit done and just providing that for people. Like it's not, as you said, like you just being great at twerk, you fucking are, but it's the lives that you change where people get to see you every week or like it sparks something inside of them. So yeah, thank you. And thank you for your time today.
Yes, thank you for having me on and allowing me to share, I guess, my message as well. That's beautiful.
All right, awesome. All right, thank you. Have a lovely day and thank you for coming on.
You too.
Right, bye-bye.
Bye.